The events of Sendai Castle resonated with me for a while, and after some time had passed, I found myself alone again, standing in front of Sendai Castle and eyeing its majestic shape. In a corner of my eye, I saw the autumn sky in the background, letting a soft breeze hit my cheeks. Hijikata-san emerged from the castle gates, and his worn expression indicated a worrisome tiredness. Hello, Hijikata-san. How was the meeting?
どうもこうもねえよ。榎本さんと一緒に何度も仙台藩のお偉いさんをつっついたんだが、新政府軍の戦意は旺盛だ。まだ打って出るべきではない。ってな具合にのらりくらりとかわされちまった。東北の雄仙台藩とか偉そうに脱がしておきながら土壇場になって腰が引けるとはな。
What? Both the Shinsengumi and the Aizu domain were giving everything they could to continue the fight. If we couldn't rely on our allies in the northeast, then it seemed the outcome of the war would be grimmer than we would have hoped.
ひとまず宿に戻るか。今日は日差しが強くていけね
え。A cloud of frustration seemed to follow us as we returned to our inn, most notably in Hijikata-san. Hang in there, Hijikata-san. We'll be at the inn soon enough. Hijikata-san's skin looked pale, and watching him in silent agony made my heart ache.
俺の心配してる場合じゃねえだろ。お前はどうなんだ？
I'm fine. I mean, I'm pretty resilient.
何言ってやがんだ。俺に付き合って夜通し起きてやがるくせに。
Well, I'm a tough one. When you finally fall asleep, it gives me the peace of mind that I can rest easily too. Hijikata-san's lips curled, and he didn't seem satisfied with my answer. Instead, he just stared at me. He turned his head gradually towards the hues of red and orange covering the autumn sky in the distance. I followed his lead, and I looked towards the sky. My vision suddenly blurred.
おい、どうした？
Hijikata-san was right next to me, and yet his voice sounded so distant. Oh shit. Before I knew it, my body collapsed to the floor.
おい、雪村！どうした？しっかりしろ！
When I regained my consciousness, I discovered myself tucked snugly into a futon. Oh, is this?
目が覚めたみてえだな。ここがどこかわかるか？
Hijikata-san! Once I realized it was him, I snapped out of my daze. I'm sorry, I desperately wanted to apologize, but Hijikata-san was going to have none of it.
このバカ野郎が！具合が悪いんなら出歩いたりせず宿にいりゃよかったじゃねえか。
I'm so sorry. It felt like a stone dropped in the pit of my stomach as Hijikata-san scolded me. I could only look down. Hijikata-san seemed flustered by his outburst, and he scratched his head before muttering under his breath.
お前を怒鳴りつけるのは筋違いってもんか。親父さんが亡くなった後も気を休める暇すらなかったからな。気を張って平気なふりをすんのも限界だったってことだろう。
couldn't deny that I was upset about what happened with Father, but I wasn't the only one who lost someone. Hijikata-san did too. Not only did he lose Kondo-san, but also Sanon-san and Heisuke as well. And if you weren't here last night, you probably didn't see the fact that I have a keychain of Heisuke on my pop filter. He's hanging there, and I put him there because I just had him. I had him, and I'm like, I need to put you there so I remember you, Heisuke. I don't have much from Hakuoki, but what I do have, I have some, not all. But now I am definitely afraid of this route. Losing so many of his close friends and comrades surely was taking a devastating toll on Hijikata-san. One I'm sure no one would be comfortable admitting.
お前は今後、仙台藩とのやり取りに同行する必要はねえ。ここで休んだろ。
What? No, I'm fine. Today was just a lot to handle, so please.
また出先でぶっ倒られたら俺が迷惑するんだよ。
ごめんなさい。Hijikata-san's biting words overloaded me with guilt. I'll be careful. I won't let this become a problem again in the future. So please let me continue being with you.
どうしてだ？近藤さんや山崎、源さんに俺のことを頼まれてるからか。死んでいった奴らだって、てめえの身を犠牲にしてまで俺に尽くせとは言ってなかったはずだぜ。
Well, ow. It's true, but ow. True, Hijikata-san had a point. But if he were to know the truth about why I would want to stay with him, I'd say... I want to be by your side. I want to be by your side, Hijikata-san.
どうしてだ?
What do you mean, why? I couldn't continue. I knew in my heart of hearts that what the true answer was, but there's no way I could tell Hijikata-san my feelings. Suddenly, the hairs behind my neck stood, tingling me.
まあいいや。話したくねえんなら構わねえさ。
Damn. Hijikata-san flashed his usual sense of detachment, and he muttered quietly to himself. Hijikata-san likewise seemed caught up in his own thoughts, and he muttered something shortly afterwards.
お前確か松本先生と親しかったよ
な。I wasn't close with him. My father was, though. However, Matsumoto-sensei did watch after me frequently.
そうか。あの先生はちゃんとした人だ。人間として信頼できる。
Eh? Where's this coming from, Hijikata? Right. Why would he be bringing this up all of a sudden? That's what I'm wondering. I couldn't quite grasp the point Hijikata-san was trying to make.
もしこの地で何かあったら、あの人を頼れ。
Oh, that's where he's going with it.
会津、仙台が新政府に下ったとしても、あの人のそばにいりゃ悪いようにはならねえはずだ。
What? But it's not a sure thing that they'll lose.
戦いってのは、勝った時と負けた時、両方に備えておくもんだぜ。
With that said, Hijikata-san turned to face the outside window, and he continued.
松本先生も、もうすぐ仙台に来るはずだ。そうしたら、
He fell silent. After a while, he shook his head tenderly.
いや、なんでもね、独り言だ。
Why can you never just say the things you want to say, Hijikata? Oop. I bumped the keychain, don't mind that. In the empty space of our conversation, I tried to sift through what Hijikata-san was trying to say. However, I couldn't understand any of it. All I could do was pray that this brief, peaceful reprieve would prolong itself, even for a bit. This was all we could do, really, in these dark times. Hijikata-san and Inomoto-san made another trip to speak with the Sendai officials the following day. Although they hoped their audience with the officials would be fruitful.
ありゃ、もうダメだな。仙台藩のお偉いさん方は完全に戦う気をなくしちまってる。
Well, there goes our help.
どうします？いっそ俺たちも一緒に新政府に降伏しちまいますか？
悪い冗談はやめてくれよ。
Can we just appreciate Enomoto's mustache? Look at that, it's fucking glorious. Like his entire outfit even as well. Bow tie, glorious.
いくら新しい時代だっつっても、勝ったやつが好き放題できるなんて道理が通っちゃいけねえ。日本をこれから西洋と肩を並べられる文明国にするつもりだってんなら、なおさらな。
とはいえ、東北諸藩が落ちるのも時間の問題でしょう。
今後どうするか考えがねえこともねえんだが、最終的な判断を下すのは大鳥君と合流できてからだな。
No. A few days passed. I hear our forces are gathering in an area to the north of Sendai. Are you planning on heading to Ezo? Ezo was a large island north of Sendai, which was at least a day's boat ride across the sea. For some stories I had heard, I envisioned it as a place where blankets of snow covered the roofs of houses for more than half of the year.
どうなろうと、新選組は将軍公と幕府のために働く。それだけは揺るがねえさ。
The Shinsengumi shows others the way, right? I smiled brightly towards him, and Hijikata-san turned to face the sky with a hint of melancholy in his eyes.
おかしな話だよな。散々武士のまがいものとして扱われてきた俺たちが今や道しるべだとよ。
I'm sure Kondo-san would be proud, watching over us wherever he is now.
だろうな。
I could almost recall Kondo-san's joyful grin. In this moment, I think Hijikata-san saw something similar wherever he was looking. Well, that's one more reason not to die then. It was a burden on him, undoubtedly, but Hijikata-san had seen many of his friends lay down their lives for the Shinsengumi and what it represented. Knowing what it had meant to them, he couldn't allow himself to die.
志を持ち続ける奴がいる限り、新選組は死なせられねえよな。
That's right. The doubt that I'd seen in him weeks before was gone. He accepted his place at the head of the Shinsengumi. Seeing him so at peace made me feel the same.
俺が新選組を
looked over at me, his gaze warm. It felt good. Better than I had felt in a long time. Just being next to him was enough to make me feel like everything was right with the world. A few more days of autumn came and went. The men we'd left in Aizu finally reached Sendai. Unfortunately, bad news came with them. Oh god, I swear, game, you better not.
斉藤さんが戦死なさいました。
God damn it! Okay! Ah! No! Saito! I swear. I can see it coming, but that doesn't lessen the pain.
「最後にあとは土方さんを頼れ」と。
Shimada's jaw was tight with emotion as he spoke. Ever since this war started, I don't know how many times I've seen this expression on a warrior's face. I bit my lip until it almost bled. It was a desperate attempt to keep tears from my eyes. It didn't seem fair to cry in front of him. Hijikata-san put his hand on Shimada's shoulders, and he gave some words of encouragement.
苦労をかけたな、島田。お前たちが生きててくれてよかった。
So about being historically accurate, I thought this would be the historically accurate route. It's not. Oh, it's not. Historically accurate would be that both Shimada and Saito would be here, but they're not. Ah! Shimada's eyes grew wide, and he looked overcome with emotion.
ありがとうございます。
Also, I wanna hug Shimada! Heisuke and Sanan-san lost their lives back in Sendai, and Saito-san lost his in Aizu. Those are all of their Fury friends. Oh god! Oh no! This meant Hijikata-san was the only Fury left among the Shinsengumi. And I'm very afraid of that because look at the fates of all the others. Oh!
今まで世話をかけたな。これからの戦いはより厳しいものになるだろう。
This right here is all that's left of the core members of the Shinsengumi. Hijikata, Nomura, Soma, and Shimada. This is gonna hurt like a bitch.
お前らはもう十分戦ってくれた。だから。
Shimada set his jaw and looked back at Hijikata-san.
この命はすでに新選組に預けています。我々はどこまでも土方さんについていきます。
俺もです。地の果てまでお供しますよ。
命なんてとっくに捨ててます。どこまでも一緒に行かせてください。
I threw my life away before I met any of you. Nomura, what is your backstory, sir? Actually, I want to know more because I know that he joined the Shinsengumi just because he was a fan. But does that just mean that? Or is there more to Nomura than we don't know? I'm gonna guess we're gonna find out in Soma's route. Possibly. Why are you surprised, Hijikata? These men gave their lives and are giving their lives. This shouldn't be a surprise. And I bet you we're gonna say the same thing, hopefully.
我々は新選組として戦いたいんです。信じた義を果たすために生きたいんです。
If Kondo-san was alive, I'm sure he would have cried. Yeah, that's accurate. The Shinsengumi was united in body and mind. I felt a great happiness welling up in me, and suddenly I couldn't hold it in any longer. Tears spilled forth.
このバカ野郎どもが。
He twisted his face into a sneer, but there was no hiding the warmth in his eyes as he looked out over the men. Every one of them respected him. They knew the coming battle would not be an easy one, but there was no doubt in their minds. Their place was with Hijikata-san and the Shinsengumi. The Shinsengumi was a potent symbol of what it meant to be a true samurai, whose devotion and passion were championed above all else. October came. Oh, we're getting closer. The Sendai domain was moving closer and closer to submitting to the Imperial Army. Our presence here was growing more dangerous. Even Otori agreed that we should leave. Ultimately, it was decided that the Shinsengumi would head to Ezo with Enomoto's fleet. We left Sendai and headed into the forest. We'd almost arrived at the rendezvous when Hijikata-san suddenly stopped and turned to me.
雪村、お前を連れて行くわけにはいかねえ。ここに残れ。
Eh? What? His words stopped me in my tracks. It was so sudden. But why? Where is this coming from? Also, why did you choose right now in the middle of the goddamn forest?
お前は戦いから離れろ。もう俺たちに付き合う必要はねえだろ。
No, there is.
近藤さんや源さん、山崎に頼まれたっつっても、その義理は十分果たしたはずだ。もしお前がこの先戦いに巻き込まれて死んだりしたら、俺があの世で皆にどやされちまう。そろそろお前も俺たちから解放されてもいい頃だろ。
You say that after almost 5 years? Really? No! Now that my father had passed, I knew there wasn't something to justify staying with the Shinsengumi, but even so, my heart yearned to be with Hijikata-san.
安心しろ。風間は今後、お前じゃなくて俺を狙ってきやがるはずだ。
I forgot about that thread. No, that's not it. Once again, I found myself nearly yelling. I don't want to stay just because I think I need you to protect me from Kazama. Hijikata-san sighed. He looked as if he were dealing with a fussy toddler.
聞き分けのねえことを言うんじゃねえ。俺じゃお前を幸せになんてできねえんだよ。
What? My eyes went wide. When I spoke, my voice shook. What makes me happy is... I don't care about being happy. I don't need to be happy. I'm not asking for happiness. All I want to do is fight alongside the Shinsengumi. I want to follow the same path you do. I didn't care what my position might be, so long as I could stay at Hijikata-san's side. I never stuck beside Hijikata-san because of some ulterior motive, or because I sought my happiness as a sort of internal measure for purpose. Please, I'll do whatever you tell me to.
その気持ちはありがてえが、お前は幸せになるべきだと思うぜ。俺たちなんぞに付き合わずにな。
I think we're at an impasse. Hijikata-san. What phone? He wasn't just saying that to make me feel better. I could feel the sincerity behind his words. I was happy to know he cared, but it pained me just as much.
これは新選組副長としての命令だ。
He looked me in the eye, his voice flat and cold.
蝦夷地への同行は許さねえ。お前の存在は俺たちの邪魔になる。
Well, that's a loophole. Fuck. Yeah, that gas is worth it. Wait, I could do that better. Hold on. I felt my heart skip a beat. Then, the warmth in my body began to leave me. My hands trembled and wouldn't relent. As I felt my cheeks grow pale and cold from feeling, Hijikata-san stared back at me with a face of stone.
お前は女として生きる。これ以上、俺たちに縛られるな。
Hearing that, all the power in my body had left me, and I fell to the floor. Really should be ground. I'll keep saying this every time I notice it. Oh, this is... Oh. Hijikata-san. Please, wait. I wanted so badly to scream this to him. But I couldn't speak. It felt like my hands, feet, and voice were no longer mine. I was powerless.
達者で暮らせ。以上だ。
No! The minute he turned his back on me, I knew it wasn't good. It became clear that he truly intended to leave me behind. But I couldn't even lift a finger. Hijikata-san was getting further and further away, and his footsteps rang heavily in my ears. It was him, the one I'd been running after ever since the Battle of Toba Fushimi. A man that up to now was working on chipping the distance between us bit by bit. I don't want this. I squealed out loud, forcing my voice to be heard, but Hijikata-san walked as if he didn't hear me. Hijikata! Even when I called his name, he wouldn't stop. And eventually, I couldn't see his back anymore. Hijikata-san. Even after there was not a soul around me, I remained on the floor in a defeated stupor. I couldn't get up. I felt like something inside me had crumbled. An immense feeling of despair overtook my heart. I've been chasing after Hijikata-san all this time, but he was someone who only moved forward. His life was lived by keeping his pain sealed away, but never once did he leave me behind. He gave me the chance to cling on to him, This is what kept us together. But now, I understood that there were no more chances to gather myself, or run after him, or any other childish endeavor to bring us closer. This was it. He cut me off. He deemed me of no further use to him, and he severed the tie that burdened his duty. Tears began to stream down my face.
さ、雪村くん。
I heard a quiet voice behind me and turned to see whom it was. Tori-san.
話は聞かせてもらったよ。
Otori and his men were marching with us to meet Enomoto's fleet. I'd heard that he'd been in some of the fiercest battles in Aizu, and they'd changed him. He seemed stronger now, like a samurai.
悪いとは思ったんだけど、声をかけるきっかけがつかめなくてね。
He coughed awkwardly, then handed me a small white piece of cloth. What is this?
ハンケチーフっていう西洋の手拭いだよ。君の涙を拭き取るのに使ってくれないかな。
You know, I'm kind of liking Otori. He's a gentleman. At first, I hesitated. However, it was more embarrassing for me to stand in front of him covered in tears, so I took it. He waited until I had calmed down some before he began to speak again.
君は土方くんのそばにいたいんだね。
はい。
なら待っていてくれるかな。僕たちが蝦夷地を平定するまで。
What?
僕が君を蝦夷に呼んであげるよ。泣いている女の子は放っておけないからね。
Otori-san.
礼は言わなくていいからね。君が蝦夷地に着いたら土方くんのそばで死ぬまで働いてもらうことになるんだから。
Oh my god. Otori coming through for us. Holy shit.